The most suspicious man in the Charlie Kirk murder case, or the pretrial right now, it's not Tyler Robinson. And it's also not probably who you'd expect. So right now they're painting a picture that is so much more messy than it is clean. And I am confident this is a story you probably haven't heard yet, because somehow nobody seems to be talking about the person at the center of this pretrial right now. Sometimes you hear testimony and you think, that's unfortunate. And then sometimes you hear testimony and you think, that's so weird. I need to make sure I'm not accidentally watching an episode of Cops filmed in Tampa, or something off of spinoff of Mormon Wives. I'm going to show you the shadiest man in this whole trial. He's one witness whose testimony somehow manages to include missing evidence, just evidence that just seems to disappear halfway through the important stuff, and a gun holster left behind at a homicide scene, and also a debate over gravel. Yes, gravel. The rock, I guess. I don't know. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to decide for yourself if you think this is just a totally random, chaotic series of decisions made by one man, or something that deserves a whole lot more scrutiny. And real quick, if you're new here, I'm Lauren Pretra. Willa Pretra is not feeling so well. We're having a hard time right now, but best way you can support us is by giving us a sub, finding us wherever you listen to your podcast. Keep in mind, we do this every single day. We bootstrap, independent, network free, in order to keep our lead on Katie Miller, who is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the pale white nationalist from Santa Monica. And we're not backing down. Not now, not ever. So every hype, every comment, 6 words or more, every 5-star rating, wherever you listen, consider all those actions an FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. Meet Chris Bagley. Chris is a former UVU campus police officer who was assigned to secure the Hall of Flags on the day that Charlie Kirk was. And his testimony makes absolutely no freaking sense. His job that day was to secure the scene. One job, one man, secure the scene. Got it? No. Instead, his testimony has become one of the most interesting parts of this preliminary hearing, and he's taken up a whole lot of space. Well, not because anyone caught him confessing to anything dramatic, but because every answer seemed to create 2 new questions. And once the defense started walking through his timeline piece by piece, things got weird. So I'm going to read a tweet from Brecken FVs, because Brecken does a good job summarizing what's going on. And there are several concerning moments in Bagley's testimony. So the state's first witness, former Utah Valley University police officer Chris Bagley, was assigned to secure the top of the Hall of the Flags, a walkway adjacent to the amphitheater where Kirk was shot. Bagley, so far, is laying the foundation for the geography of campus, including buildings on the day of the assassination, September 10th, 2025. And Robinson's attorneys have maintained a standing objection because the officer did not take the pictures himself, and he has no personal knowledge of how those pictures were taken. Judge Graff has overruled the objections twice because Bagley has intimate knowledge of the campus and was assigned to work there. So hold on to that. Might not make a whole lot of sense, but we're going to walk it back because there are so many things that are just wildly off about this. And once I start to tell you and show you, it's going to make a whole lot more sense. So Bagley swears that there was a gravel disturbance where Tyler Robinson would have been laying on the roof. But the photo just didn't seem to do it justice, but it was sure kind of there. You look for yourself. So if you're listening, we're looking at gravel on a roof. Is this a Utah thing? I just don't know if I've seen gravel on a roof before. And moving right along, hold on to that.
And just below that, where you can see the grass and the white tent, is where Charlie Kirk was sitting looking west, and we're on top of the Losi building.
And is this depicting a particular corner of the Losi rooftop?
Yes, it is.
And this is the top rooftop?
Yes.
Is it the same level where we observed the atrium that's to the north?
The atrium's up just a little bit higher, so this is the top level of 4.
Level 4, okay. And what area of the rooftop are we looking at here?
You're looking
as far as the gravel?
Southwest side of the Losi building.
Southwest side, okay. Is there a line of sight down into the courtyard
Yes, there is.
in that area? Okay. What else do you observe on this exhibit that's significant to you, officer?
There was some disturbance in the gravel right where, and around the area where in the area where the yellow marker is there was some disturbance that caught my eye there.
Okay. And does this photograph do it justice?
No.
And how so?
You can't really see the impression I saw at the time of when I was up there on that day. I saw a distinct impression in the gravel, and this does not show that.
Okay, so you could see more with the naked eye?
Yes.
Okay.
What the fuck? So he testified that he saw disturbed gravel on the roof, which conveniently supported the theory that a sniper had been set up there in a firing position. But then when the defense pointed out that the crime scene photos don't actually show the disturbed gravel, Bagley's defense was, I had to be there. He just claimed the photos didn't capture what he saw with his eyes. And while this looks bad, honestly, you guys, this ranks lowest on the sus scale right now. Witness testimonies conflicting with the photographic evidence. That's a kind of standard Tuesday over here in this Tyler Robinson pretrial shenanigans. It is highly possible he simply overstated his memory to fit the prosecution's narrative, to fit whatever Turning Point USA wanted them to say. Real quick, today's episode is brought to you by Brickhouse Nutrition. Everyone's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering your blood sugar and reducing your appetite. So what if you're looking to lose weight, but you're not interested in those painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? Well, that's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. And let's get you started today with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. You can visit takelean.com and enter code Lauren, that's Loren, for your discount. That's promo code Lauren at takelean.com. So he just straight up looks like a very unreliable witness. Maybe not a malicious actor, but like something doesn't add up. Now, this is where it all takes a major turn. Skirt. We're in full-blown suspicion now. We started off with like incompetence, but now we have arrived. So the pistol holder. Chris was on the tiered grass level of the outdoor auditorium. He was ushering people in and out, making sure the evidence was preserved. These are his words, by the way. And he found a concealed carry pistol left on the grass after masses have poured out of the area. He thought nothing of it. Guys, if I see a weapon holster on the ground after a shooting, I'm going to think twice about that. I'm not just going to be like, there's nothing. So he thought nothing of it because he was positive that the gunshot that went off had to have been a rifle because of the way it echoed. Or maybe something else. Maybe he knew something else. So he left the holster on the ground and didn't bring it in as evidence. So let's talk about like how to make yourself look guilty as fuck. 101.
You don't mention anything about thinking it came from the Low-C building or anything like that, right?
Later on, when I recognized when I saw the empty holsters, I think I actually said that in there, where I see the empty holster, that I realized the line of sight.
Okay. So let's talk about that holster for a minute. So you heard the shot, and you only heard one shot, correct?
Yes.
And then you came down from the walkway above the tent, right?
Yes.
And you came down to really the grassy area that we've all been looking at, the courtyard.
Yes.
And there was kind of chaos, people running around.
Yep.
Yes. And while you were down there, you saw what you said was an empty holster.
Yeah, as I was clearing people out and making sure that the evidence was preserved, about towards the top, after a little bit, I saw an empty holster sitting there.
And when you say towards the top, can you be specific and tell us where you were?
So on the south side in the courtyard, there's some tiers of seating where the grass is different levels, and it was towards the top, maybe just right before the cement is where everybody's standing, so there's different levels. It's towards the top on the grass.
And when you saw the holster, can you describe to me what it looked like?
An empty concealed holster
For what type of
for
weapon?
a pistol.
Okay. And did it have any markings on it?
I didn't even, no, not that I noticed.
And what happened to that holster?
I have no idea.
Did you ever take custody of it?
Nope,
Did you ever tell anyone else to take custody of it?
nope,
You just left it on the grass?
I did.
Was it ever fingerprinted to your knowledge?
I have no idea.
Okay.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me? That's crazy talk. You just find an empty holster on the scene of a crime that your one job is to preserve, and you can't manage to think twice about any of that. So are we sure that the gun that offed Charlie Kirk was a rifle? Prosecutors claim that Tyler used a rifle. Remember his grandfather's rifle? It was a Mauser Model 98 with a 30-06 rifle cartridge. You guys can tell that I don't know my shit here, but it's okay. Give me a thumbs up on this video if I nailed those pronunciations. Shout out to Gigi for the help. So here's a video of that bullet absolutely destroying anything it hits.
Jackpot.
What do you think, Kirk? I think that the likelihood that the setup, which is going to be harder to get through than a human neck and spine, the likelihood that that stops.
Brings me to my next point. Did Charlie Kirk explode? No. Unfortunately, the images and the video of him experiencing that gunshot were circulated widely. I did not opt into seeing those. Unfortunately, being on the internet and doing this work, I saw them against my will. I didn't consent to seeing them, but I did. And what you all saw, if you saw them too, was a very direct and mostly, all things considered, clean hit right to his neck, right? Like maybe it was a pistol that shot him, and that holster could have been important. So while Bagley was not securing this chaotic campus immediately following the shooting, he found this discarded holder on the grass, didn't bag it up, didn't photograph it in its place, or treat it like evidence at an active murder scene. He just left it there. And his reasoning was he already decided in his little head that, it was a rifle, so it couldn't have been a handgun holster. You don't need to entertain this unproven theory that the murder weapon was actually a pistol to find this absurd. The issue isn't that the holster proves a different shooter or anything. The issue is that we had an officer deciding on the fly to ignore firearm accessories at a fresh crime scene. This is a catastrophic failure of just very basic evidence preservation. And then the most sideways part of it all that when I saw this, I was like, no fucking way, was the impeccably timed dead battery. This is the most suspicious part. So Bagley is one of the very first officers to push towards the suspected sniper location. His body camera rolls for 27 uninterrupted minutes during his first response. Then at the exact moment he reaches the rooftop, the critical location where the alleged sniper position is first discovered and examined, the camera shuts off conveniently. Just like cops' body cameras do when they have just executed a black person or a child or a woman in distress. It's really odd how convenient that timing is. He claims the battery died, but to make matters worse, the defense established this was the only body camera footage from his response that day. And there is no public evidence that he intentionally deleted the footage or manually powered the camera down. We don't see that. But from a storytelling perspective, the only camera completely dies the exact second the officer reaches the most important piece of real estate in the entire investigation. That's a massive red flag. It creates a completely blind spot exactly where you need the most transparency. It's giving Jeffrey Epstein and those tapes when they just shit out for a minute, right at the right time. So take a look at this.
No.
Okay. Are you aware of there being a bullet found on another roof
I'm not aware.
vicinity? Were you aware of another bullet being found on the scene, not on the roof of the Losi building?
No.
All right, your body cam footage that I reviewed appears to end while you're still on the roof. Do you know why that is?
I think the battery went dead. It was just right at that moment.
Okay. And do you know, did you ever turn it back on that day or go get it, I don't know, what do you have to do, charge it or stick a new battery in it? I don't even know.
Usually dock it, but no, I didn't go back. It was too chaotic running around.
So that 27-minute and 35-second body cam that starts when you're at the Hall of Flags and ends while you're still on the roof, but haven't put the crime tape up yet, that's the only body cam you have that day?
Yes.
Great. You mentioned when you went to the police department, you watched the video where you saw an individual up on the roof,
Yes.
right? And that individual was in the vicinity where you saw the disturbance in the gravel.
Yes.
He actually said, I think the battery went dead right at that moment. So this all goes down after 27 minutes and 35 seconds when he arrives at the Hall of Flags and ends while he's still at the roof. The only body cam you have that day. And he's like, yep. What do you guys think? Seems pretty crazy to me. And y'all, there is so much more to this. We are going to be working overtime around the clock this week and throughout this trial. So please make sure to hit subscribe, follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on social. I am Lauren P. Lauren like Lorena without the I and instead of P. So I am Lauren P. I'm not everywhere across Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I am Lauren Paritra on Twitter. It's a long story, but find us. Let me know in the comments what you think. This guy feels pretty damn sus to me. We're not done asking questions and poking around, and I hope you will stick with us. Again, we do this all for you, and we're going through a lot right now, so show us some support. Thanks, bye.